So a lot of people that are getting started in cycling aren't too sure what the difference between a mountain bike and a road bike is. So I'm just going to go through some things and tell you those differences. Okay, so on the left here we have the road bike, and on the right we have a mountain bike. So usually a mountain bike will have a much more aggressive frame, so sharper angles and things like that. This mountain bike's a different story. This mountain bike's pretty relaxed geometry. Reason being is I bought it at the time to do a bit of mountain biking and road riding, so it was still comfortable to do both. As you can see with the road bike, the top tube's very flat and the geometry isn't anywhere near as aggressive. Every bike's different, but that's just the general consensus of the two. So probably the first thing to note is a mountain bike usually has suspension. So this here is the suspension fork that goes up and down when you hit bumps and things like that, whereas the road bike has a solid fork with no suspension at all. Suspension does take a lot of effort away from you, so as you're pedaling the front will bounce around, so that's why a road bike that's built for speed and climbing and things like that doesn't have a suspension fork. Some mountain bikes have rear suspension as well. This one doesn't. This is a hardtail, meaning the rear has no suspension. Another thing is usually mountain bikes have flat bars, so bars that just go straight across with levers, brake levers like this, and the shifters around the same area. Road bike usually has these drop bars. Not always, you can get a flat bar road bike, but in usual case, road bike will have these drop bars that come around like this with the hoods here, and you've got your levers and shifters as part of the brake lever. What else? Gearing is usually different, usually different gear ratios. A road bike's usually built for speed and for climbing performance. Road bike's usually very stiff. This is carbon, this bike's aluminium. You can get either or in both bikes. You can get a carbon mountain bike or an aluminium mountain bike, or a carbon road bike or an aluminium road bike. So yeah, road bike's usually a lot lighter, which I can tell when I definitely pick up both of these bikes. I think the mountain bike weighs double, if not more, than the road bike. But yeah, road bikes are built to be very stiff, so they do, when you accelerate, they actually move fairly quickly, whereas a mountain bike's built to absorb some of the bumps and jumps and things that you'll be doing. Don't mind my seat, it's not normally that low, it's just someone else rode the bike for a bit of fun. So a lot of mountain bikes these days will have disc brakes, as you can see there, the disc, and front and rear. Some still don't, but that's general consensus again, is that most mountain bikes will have disc brakes, and most road bikes will have these kind of U brakes, cantilever style brakes, front and rear. But some road bikes these days are coming out with disc brakes, so it's not the be all end all. Not all road bikes have U brakes, some have disc brakes now as well. And then there's bikes that are in between, which are cyclocross bikes, so they're a road bike frame almost, but with and handlebars, but they'll have disc brakes and a few other little different features. Another thing is tyres. So on a road bike, usually you have very narrow tyres with hardly any tread or hardly any knobbies or grooves type thing. Whereas a mountain bike here, you can see the tyre's much wider and it's absolutely covered in tread. So that's obviously for grip on dirt and stuff like that. Whereas a road bike's primary surface is just go fast and be efficient on the road. So I think that's roughly all the differences between the both bikes. I know when I started, I had the mountain bike because I could ride on the road and ride on trails and stuff like that. But there were times when I thought I really wish there was a way I could convert this almost into a road bike. But there's too many things to do to convert it to a road bike, or not convert it to a road bike, but whenever I rode on the road, I wanted to make some changes to make it easier. The only thing that's easy that you can really do is just get some really narrow tyres. So you can get road tyres for a mountain bike if they fit your rim, or cyclocross tyres. That's probably the only big help you can get. You don't want to be changing cassettes and gears and all that stuff every time you ride, and changing handlebars and putting handlebars on a mountain bike is just way too much work. So best option is to buy both if you can afford to do so. If not, like I said, buy a mountain bike because you can ride it anywhere, and just put some just swap the tyres out. So if you're going mountain biking, put your wide knobbies on. If you're going road riding, then just put on your cyclocross or road narrow tyres, because most of the resistance is in the tyres. Not much you can do about the weight if your mountain bike's heavy, but as I said, best option is, if you can afford to, buy both bikes, one for each purpose. But yeah, not everyone can do that, so I always recommend that if you're starting out, you want to buy a bike, you want to do a bit of everything, then definitely buy a mountain bike, because you can ride a mountain bike on the road. You can't ride a road bike on a trail or stuff like that, or you don't want to be riding on too much gravel and dirt and stuff like that, because you'll just damage the bike in no time. So yeah, I hope that helped. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.